All right, guys, it's finally Thursday and it's the last day of our school week this week. I just wanted to finish our story we started last night about our autobiography about Scott Kelly, the astronaut that was on the International Space Station. I do want to give you just a couple of updates really quickly. Today is our last day before spring break, so I won't be posting tomorrow. And we actually will be off until Good Friday of the next week, so I won't get to really post many things until Monday, April 13th. So as long as everything goes as planned over these next couple of days and I continue to learn how to work these cameras and do all these uploads, I think that'll be a great plan. So I plan on continuing to read to you as the school year goes on. And if anything new comes up, I'll be sure to let you know on Dojo. So be sure to check your class story and just look for the updates from Hamilton County on their website this next coming week, because we won't be posting on Dojo just like as if we were on spring break from our classrooms. So without further ado, let's go ahead and finish our story from last week, or last night. Sorry, I'm already on spring break, at least my brain is. We were finishing the part of our book that was talking about the dream that Scott Kelly had to become a jet pilot. It says, I wanted to fly higher and higher, and to do that, I needed to go to space. Step 3, become an astronaut at last. Mark and I both joined NASA in 1996. Our class was so large, it was called the Sardines. Look, they're all packed in there like sardines in a can. We each flew into space 4 times. We flew on space shuttles, a Russian spaceship called the Soyuz, and the ISS, but we never went to space together, just in case something went wrong. Space travel was our biggest risk of all. I flew the Space Shuttle Discovery on a mission to fix the Hubble Space Telescope, and I led the Space Shuttle Endeavour below on a mission to make the ISS bigger. All the space shuttles stopped flying in 2011, and now the only way to reach the ISS was to ride on the Russian Soyuz. NASA's next biggest mission is to send astronauts to Mars, but first they need to see what happens when humans are in space for a very long time. Twin astronauts were perfect for this job, so NASA asked me to spend a full year in space. No American had ever stayed in space that long, and one twin astronaut in space, me, tested his brain, blood, eyes, muscles, and bones, while one twin on Earth, Mark, did the same tests. NASA will continue to study us over time and compare the results. After my year in space, I stretched almost 2 inches and my eyesight got worse. But I am mostly back to normal now. That's so interesting that his body, his height, he grew 2 inches and his eyesight became worse. I wonder if that has something to do with like how dark it is, maybe? That's so interesting. Living on the ISS is very different from living on the Earth. Of course, there is no gravity, so you float around. And floating sounds like fun, and it is. But your tools float away, and that can be super annoying. Even your body will float away when you are sleeping. See how all of his fruits that he's juggling are just kind of floating through the air? That's why the crew has to sleep in bags that hang on the wall or the ceiling. Of course, they have to drink through a special straw also, and use the bathroom that's like a vacuum cleaner. There he is, trying to sleep in space, all bundled up in his sleeping bag. My crew on the ISS was so busy. NASA told us what to do each day so that we could fit everything in. They told us when to eat and when to exercise and when to work in the lab. We had 400 experiments to run, and many of them studied the effects of zero gravity. The crew and 20 mice were on board. We even grew plants in space. I liked to water the flowers. It reminded me of seeing gardens with Grandma and Pop Pop. I liked eating the lettuce even more. We were the first crew to eat fresh vegetables grown on the ISS. There they are, doing their jobs, exercising. Looks like they're fixing some type of machinery. NASA did its best to keep our crew safe, but the ISS is at risk every minute. Our crew faced extra dangers during my year in space. We first lost 2 unmanned ships, bringing us fresh food and supplies. One crashed in April, and another one exploded in June. Second, the ISS was almost hit and destroyed by space junk in July. Third, we had to make an emergency spacewalk to fix the ISS in December. There he is out in the outside of the shuttle trying to fix parts of this space station. Earth meant everything to the crew meant everything to the crew while we were so far away. We loved to look out the windows at our beautiful planet from our perch 220 miles above the earth. We saw big cities glittering in the blackness of night and the sun shining on the rivers and oceans. It made many brilliant shades of blue. Our crew wanted to share that beauty, and we hoped that our photos would inspire people to help protect our amazing home. So here are some of the photos that they took while they were up in space. Pretty awesome. Finally, my mission was done. It felt so good knowing that all the risk I had taken had brought humans one step closer to Mars. Now it's time to go home. Our Soyuz capsule is falling back to Earth at almost 1,000 feet per second. Gravity presses down on us. It becomes really hard to breathe, and it feels like you're going over Niagara Falls. But while you're on fire, the parachute opens, and the landing is so hard that my head hit the seat cushion. Then the hatch would open, and there were strong arms to help me out. And the fresh air smells amazing. There's their chute. There are the men helping him out of the capsule. NASA pokes and prods at me. After many tests, I'm cleared to return to Texas. I land in Houston and give my whole family a big bear hug. When I get home, I walk straight to my yard and jump in the pool, even with all my clothes on. The sights and smells and sounds of Earth surround me. My year in space ends with my first shower and my first night's sleep in bed since I left the ISS. What an amazing journey. So it's pretty remarkable that he was able to stay up in space for over a year. When he did come back to Earth, they kept him in a lab at the NASA headquarters, and they were doing tests just like they had done while he was in space. So they were just making sure that he adapted back to Earth's atmospheres and the gravity and all those things that had been absent from, his body while he was up in the International Space Station. So if you're interested in learning more about Scott Kelly, you can find him online. I'm sure there are lots of other space astronauts that you might want to look up. One of my favorite is Sally Ride. And if you want to maybe do some historical research on some of the first NASA astronauts, like Eli was showing us last night with his Friendship 7, you can do that also with your family. That might be a fun spring break thing to do. If you have any questions or if you need anything while we're gone, feel free to let me know. I'll be on Dojo through the rest of the evening, and then I'll see you after spring break. Hope you have a great week off, and I'll see you soon, guys. Thanks. Bye-bye.